I've really come to believe that we can learn from everyone. Like I've debates all the time with people, and I've really started to come to the view that a debate is an opportunity not to win, but to learn something. And everyone in a debate has something to share and something to learn. And that goes to people on the right and people on the left and Greens and whatever label people have. Everyone brings something to the conversation. And I think if I think about the progressives as a broad grouping of kind of Greens and left uh, and maybe Māori Party as well, like so as this kind of thing that I think we don't learn enough from our opponents. Sometimes our opponents have been very successful. I think I heard you mention this earlier in the preamble. Our opponents have been very successful at like working together. I think you talked about, and we haven't looked at that and gone, oh, we can learn something from those guys.
Yeah.
They've managed to capture the language. Yeah, how's the right captured the language of freedom and liberty?
Yeah.
How have we given that away? And there's something to learn there because they've been very successful at it, and we got to learn from our opponents.
Yeah, they've been very good at forcing narratives. One of the reasons the public doesn't trust, for example, the media, is because of the narrative that the right paints, which started with Donald Trump and has gone around the world, and what they're saying, what this means. Or if there's public funding, it's got to be wrong. Sort of thing. Yeah. So, we often use an analogy for parliament or government or politics of a rugby game, and it seems that the left so often are okay with going, we played a good game, but we came up just short, and the right come off missing teeth and being bloodied, and they don't give a fuck. They just want to win. They just want the win at the end of the day, and as long as they get the win, they don't care how they get there. Now, you're seeing Luxon, in our opinion, right now getting in trouble for that because he sold his soul for everything, and that's coming back to bite him in the ass. But he's still Prime Minister. And I wonder, we're going to talk about later on about this, the way that the left, if they chose to, I think people are looking at Gavin Newsom in California, and they're learning this thing because he's basically going, Trump's come out and say we're going to gerrymander a part of Texas to get 5 more seats, and so Gavin Newsom's come out and going, cool, we're going to gerrymander California, we're going to do exactly the same thing. And it's interesting finally seeing it. Even Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high, and it's like we can't. That's why they win. Because they go low, and we explain to them how beautiful our spiral pass was and how it floated perfectly, So
Can I go to say though, it's worse than that, and I'm thinking particularly if you're looking in England and the United States, is that the Labour Party or the Democrats would rather lose than have a genuine lefty in power. Yeah. So you look at the way they deliberately sabotaged Corbyn because they would rather lose the election than have an actual. I mean, he's not even a hardcore socialist. He's a pretty moderate kind of Keynesian, But for them, he's such a radical that they'd rather lose than have him at the top.
I always say that election that Hillary Clinton went forward, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was in charge of the DNC, and she's the reason that Bernie Sanders got screwed. And if he had got the nomination, it would be a different story today. And look what's happening with Zoran Mandani right now, with people on the left basically warning the country of him. It's just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And although we all know, and everyone watching now will know, except for the one crunchy in our chat who will turn up, is that these philosophies or these policies of progressives, when you just put them out there as policies, they're hugely popular. 2/3 of New Zealand right now want some kind of capital gains tax. It is not controversial. But the right have the ability or have had the ability to paint this narrative, and it works. And that's what you're right. The left has to learn.
Well, the thing, and I mean, we're getting a little bit off track, I suppose, for what
this is what we're about.
Totally what we're about.
The thing that worries me about next year's central government or parliamentary elections is because I think this will be a one-term government, because I think what they're doing is so they're so dysfunctional. But the thing that really worries me is that we have a genuine progressive alternative
Yeah.
Because, you know, when the right makes that narrative, I don't know whether it convinces the population, but what they seem to be very good at doing is convincing Labour Party leadership that stuff is unpopular. When, as you've said, actually it's massively popular. And it really worries me that we're seeing this, you know, this onslaught of legislation coming our way across a whole bunch of stuff straight after the Atlas Network playbook. And will we have a Labour-led government, you know, that's got the courage to roll that stuff back, and not just roll back, but make some progress in the right direction? Because we've been lacking that for a long time. You know, we're still dealing with the neoliberal revolution of the 80s. We still haven't even addressed those legacy issues, you know.
If we get a one-term government, I think it's because what happens typically in politics is there's this ebbing and flowing, and what happens is a political party will come to the centre and get elected, and then over about 3 terms they end up going to where they naturally sit, and then the country goes, whoa, time for a change, and they change. And whilst they've been going back to their natural position, the ones who have lost have come back towards the centre, and then they get elected. And there's this ebbing and flowing that goes on. But what's happened this time is this government has gone straight to what a third term government would be doing. There's been no ebbing and flowing back to their natural position. They've gone elected and they've gone shunk right across to the right. And so I think some of the public, maybe enough of the public, are seeing them as if they'd be seeing a third term government going, hang on, you were much more centrist when we voted for you 4 minutes ago. What's happened? And that I think that'll all play into it. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But I have to tell you one thing, Nándor, I have given up on predictions, and I will not go back there. I'm happy to hear you say you think this is going to be a one-term government, dude. If the polls have the left up by 20%, I will not be making a prediction the day before the election.